What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews here, back at it again with another video, man. Bringing you guys, as promised, my Eazy the Block Captain versus Shotgun Suge review. The detail, the bar for bar, the approaches. We're really going to get into the nitty gritty of this one, man. And it is war out there right now, man. There is a lot of anger on both sides. You got everyone that believes Suge won, and obviously it is by far a consensus win for him right now. If you just look at votes, the way the building was and everything. And it's gotten to the point that not only did he win, but you got people that aren't trying to hear nothing but it's a 3-0 or it's this clear, victory. I even watched, shout out my guy, Mr. Shake the Builder, Mark. He went out there and said, yo, I think Eazy had some really good rounds. You know what I'm saying? And he had Shotgun Suge winning as well. And they went and teared him up. They were out there like, I'll never look at you the same. So people out for blood. And then you got the other side, which is Eazy fans, which I feel like I've actually dealt with as someone else that had Suge winning on the first watch, that are telling me oh, what happened to details and the integrity of the sport is lost. So it's a lot of anger. It's a lot of angst. It's a lot of emotions right now. And all people want is to go into the details, and of course that's what this channel is all about. I'm not going to hold y'all up too much longer here, man. So without further ado, let's get into the battle. So battle starts out first round on Eazy the Block Captain, and I do think that he had a good 3 rounds here, but I will say I felt this way in the building, and especially here on the watch back. I think his first is definitely the weakest of his 3, but it starts out with 2 moments of counter writing, right? I think a big topic for Eazy going into this battle is how is he gonna now, being able to kind of fully speak on the whole Remy and Papoose and all that situation, how is he gonna retort? So he starts off with the alphabetical slaughter, going through A, B, C, D, and then he said, well, what happens when Rem stopped at E, which was fire, a bit of a moment in the building, right? And then follows that up with an even bigger moment with, hey, Remy, you love me. And I believe when he said that, she was at the top of the scat. You'd have to see the venue for yourself, but above the open bar was kind of like a scaffolding up top to look down from. And she said yes, and he says that right there is the punchline. So he really starts out with what I would argue is 2 haymakers, right? But then from there, you were never my equal, Sugar. You were just a substitute. I thought that was fire. I don't want to hear you talking about a girl that you could never get, which is cool, still playing into the counter writing. And then he says, you're kind of like the Cowboys because you want to respect us for when you was good, and kind of speaks on how I have to come and revive your career. And I think it's some good analogies, not really the hardest hitting bars, right? I think in terms of career breakdown, comparisons and all that, the best is yet to come from in this battle. The Jake Paul bar, talk about fighting older fighters and stuff. I thought that was cool. Deion Sanders, I had sons on both sides of the field. I thought that was cool. And then even his drug talk, he has some drug talk here to kind of the end of his first rounds, already kind of winding down. I thought it was his lighter drug talk of the battle. So, as you go on, I definitely think he starts off heavy with those 2 haymakers, but loses steam content-wise. I had Fiends battling over 3 dimes, and I was debating at 30. I think he's a blogger. I saw Fiends battling over 3 dimes, so I was debating at 30. That was cool. Why would you talk behind my back? Just for it to get back to me, I thought that was fire. And then he has the dance on coke till I lost coordination bar. So that's it though. I definitely could see the argument and really think this is a lighter, Eazy round, even starting out with those 2 haymakers, kind of addressing what was yet to come. But even with the counter writing, for anyone that's seen it live and on the play, there's nothing to talk about in the first. We're just going to talk about how Suge was just whooping him in the first round. There's no other way to put it. That starts off with, where's your bitch? We're right after it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no pussy in the world that'll make me change my religion. Talking about Eazy being under the Christmas tree. That was fire. A lot of straight disrespect in this round, too. Remy, you went from opening gifts to going to Eazy's house to open your lips. That hit, saying that Anthony Brown, talking about Eazy's government name, and then saying reminds me of Mello, obviously Carmelo Anthony. Remy was in La La Land, and Pap's not the only rapper that could tell you your bitch tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. Goddamn. Haymaker, right? Calls her a mice head. Mice head tricked on you. Remy, you made the community nervous. You cleaned up the block doing community service. Haymaker, bomb. And, for anyone that says this whole first round is about, just Remy, obviously it's a huge part of, the explosiveness. A couple more bars we're going to talk about. But the change my religion, the clean up the block doing community service, that's, very direct. The Honey Nut Cheerios, that's even a flip off of his name with Mello, and then obviously Anthony Brown. So this is a direct round. I think that's always been, I heard that's the silliest critique I've heard of any of Suge's materials. The first has nothing to do with Eazy. He's tied into all this material. Call him up, Eazy the Block Captain, save a hoe, crazy. She said she wanted a drug dealer and gangster with tattoos. She wasn't talking to you. She was talking to me. The way he built that up, haymaker. It's just haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, man. My mama told me how you find him is how you leave him. That was crazy. You got talking about the straight disrespect. You got Remy out here acting like Larsa Pippen. Crazy, you know what I'm saying? Especially with all the wild shit Larsa Pippen's been out here doing. And then he is the you don't hear him crying angle. You don't hear Fetty crying about Shuni. You don't hear Rock crying about Costume. I might be saying that backwards, but you talk about battle rap couples like, yo, you don't hear them crying about this. You don't hear them being like, don't use the angle, it's this and that. It's your partner. It's someone that's tied to you. And this is something that should really resonate with all fans because it's very true. We've heard faker and probably less angleable things be angled on before. So he's tackling, it's a strategy battle. Both of them have a lot of stuff material-wise that they're placing to kind of try to undo what the other battle rapper is doing. But Suge's just bombing, and then probably the bar of the round. And this one is even ties in Eazy, but this is really directed at Remy. What is wife like? This is your second time leaving your talk about after you did 7 years and this is your second time leaving your family for Chrome. Bad, painful haymaker right there. The rim licking your rim, but the straight disrespect. I mean, there's a lot of nastiness in this first round. They said Pap was in her house and he wouldn't leave. Why don't you go over there and make him leave? Attacking him angle-wise. Pap dropped you, and now he got with a bitch that'll fuck Remy up. So, I mean, Suge is just three-pointer after three-pointer, bucket after bucket. I mean, however you want to refer to this, touchdown after touchdown. He's wilding in the first, and then speaks more of the fight and being like, yo, you got knocked out in the street. There ain't no rematch clause. If I got hit like that, I ain't calling for no fade. I'm coming to find you. So Suge just attacked so many angles. This round, even the more you watch it, is like so clearly tailored to Eazy as well. There is no taking away from this round. It's like a 10 out of 10 first. It's going to go down as probably like a historic, like a very memorable highlight reel first for Suge, and it is 1-0 by in a lot in the first round, no question for Shotgun Suge. So then we get to the second round of the battle, back on Eazy, right? And as I said, his first, definitely his weakest round, a weaker round really all around, but then you get to the second, and is by far his strongest round of the battle, right? And once again, back to the counter, right? And all this kind of exchange of dialogue they're having, and he opens up with the Muslim angle, right? That you've heard people talk about saying, Suge's been, it's called backbiting what you're doing. As a Muslim, you're supposed to hide your brother's sins, but at the very least, show the proof. And then gets into, don't you drink? And Suge says, no. He says, don't you gamble? Suge did not look up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gambling nowadays. I get it. And kind of breaking down all these things that would be like haram and considered like, how are you going to like draw the line with me? Yet you're doing all these things that go against your faith as well. Said you a gangbanger as well. You can't be Muslim and a Crip. And he doesn't just sit on the angle the whole round, but it was enough to get the crowd back on his side, I believe. And I also want to say, I didn't realize from watching the building how much Skull was like, you can't do that. You can't. Skull was going to war for him, you know what I'm saying, at the top of that second round. But it's really where he goes from there. He says drills with Rem. I'd rather do drills with Rem. At least I know she's known for shooting shit. That was dope. And then you get into what I always think is Eazy's best bag. What I had specifically said, I hope he did in this battle, that he's done in many of his battles in the second verse Ill Will, which is the career breakdown, the tailored speaking on someone's whole career, maybe the flaws within it. Talk about I created a league, got popping, and started booking y'all. I thought that was fire. He gets into some drug talk again before we get back to the career talk, but I thought that was low-key, like, haymaker-ish material, and it's also a good example of, I'm going to say this again, gas is not something that determines anything in this battle. Eazy is getting less reaction this second, because he's on the road. He still gets a lot of reaction in this round, but for anyone that's going to have that conversation, this is part of battling a battle rapper in their city. And I know some people want to hear it. I got people that are telling me, no, we were 100% fair. Nothing happened. No, the crowd was. And then you got people that are like, it's gassed. It changed the whole battle. Dog, it's a road game. There's going to be a little more reaction, you know what I'm saying, at the least for the home game guy, especially when he's doing great. There's going to be a little less reaction for the guy that's on the road. This happened to Swamp versus Cal. This happened to John versus Eazy. This happened, we can name road games all day. So I just wanted to point that out now because I'm not going to talk about it again in this video. And maybe a little bit in the third because Eazy brings it up so much, but From there, he gets into trap talk, right? Home Alone. We're going to talk about the trap house. Had shooters that was getting high and driving to me. Raced so fast to get home. They was the shooter and the driver. I thought that was a fire flip, obviously off of, one of Suge's slogans. Comic books, but if you flip the pages, they were a motion picture. I thought that was dope. You know what? You ever been through raids? We flushed blue magic and told the cops it was toilet bowl cleaner. I thought that was crazy. The drug ice fishing kind of scheme where he's like, y'all just talk about bacon coke, but y'all don't talk about the rest of it. I didn't write out all how he said it, but I thought the ice fishing scheme shit was dope. The pot sticker bar was dope. And then another thing Eazy, I feel like, is doing at a high level in this second is just the rapping. The pockets he's getting into, like, he's rapping fast, but not, like, too fast like he's rushing. It's, like, the aggression in the way that he's in the pocket. It's rapped a certain way to build momentum. Have your girl giving mouth to y'all, but y'all not kissing. I thought that was dope. Don't worry about who I'm fucking when you got parlays. You not hitting funny, fire, and insulting to anyone that's been missing on their parlays recently. I thought that was dope. Back into the career breakdown stuff now, talking about Smack kind of blocking your battles and how you're going to get a big battle here, but when you go back, you're going to have to battle lesser names, and saying you was just happy dunking. I was trying to win the game, so Suge's just happy performing, doing the dunk on stage, doesn't matter who, while Eazy's saying I have a bigger goal here to progress in battle rap. So I thought that was fire. Talks about you mad at us because you battle lower names and lose, and we give you hell for it. How are you mad that we seen what we saw? Once again, like fire, but also really funny. Then an angle about this how the battle was going to be in Detroit, and kind of plays on the fact that how is it that, like, Arsenal can go back to Detroit, but not you, but then, like, you'll battle here, and how he doesn't respect that. And he's like, that's the problem, is because the thing I liked about y'all New Jersey motherfuckers is y'all drive. So I like the way he built that up. I believe Cowan might have debunked that angle publicly, so takes away a little bit, I can't lie, but I thought it was a creative approach to it. And then you ever died in your sleep? I make people live their dreams. So I think it's a very, like, well put together Eazy round, from the counter writing in the beginning to earn the crowd back a little bit, to the angles that he took throughout. And I think bar for bar, it's much more sound and powerful than his first round. And then even towards the end, the career breakdown stuff, probably the best part of the round, and ends well. And then Suge, I think, still has a respectable second. I think makes it fairly competitive. And I thought this way in the building. The swear jar bar was dope. The under the shirt, something under the shirt for a wife beater. You wear the wife beater under your shirt, and then gets in the Hurricane Do angle, and he really pisses Sko off, being like, and Sko, how are you behind him when you're her brother and he put hands on your sister, and he gets Sko tight. And there's nothing like worse for a battler than when they use an angle against your posse and your posse reacts immediately. So that brings the momentum back Suge's way as well. But he kind of gets off the angle quick from there. He on the 1, 2, 3, 4 and have Remy screaming in the background, breathe easy. I thought that was dope. This is a big signature flow round for Suge. Like, he's in that bag the whole time. Watch Eazy pass on the turnpike. Thought that was cool. They're mob deep, but they shook ones. I thought that was cool. Angles a bit as well. Aren't you the bull that came with a bunch of security to my boxing event? You had more security than Floyd in London, so attacking him again, tailored. Use Eazy to stop around like Murda Mook. One of the better Eazy flips I thought he had in the battle. Plug get it from Toronto. Bird slide off the plate like a Blue Jay. Obviously, Blue Jays baseball. You know what I'm saying? Bird slide off the plate. I thought that was crazy. And then he ends with the pocket check. I almost forgot about my payments in a big pocket check. So Suge has a formidable round, but I even think that the gap, I edged it to Eazy live, and I think the gap grows more for me on the bar for bar too. And I don't want to say like straight up clear, because there's a lot of people arguing for Suge, but I very confidently give Eazy the second still. So it's the same for me so far, and I had it 1-1 going into the third round. And as we get into the third, right, we're going to talk a little bit more in detail about approaches and stuff, right? Because this is where I think Suge does some great strategic things, and I still think Eazy shot himself in the foot a little bit. So he starts off with weren't you hooking up with Tory Doe at 16? We'll forget that. We'll adolescence, which is like a cool bar. But my thing is that is a heinous, kind of accusation or angle to bring out. And the thing is, at the top of the second, and I said this on 3 Letterman show, if you guys want to go check that out, broke that down, the battle now with M. Lang and 3, a lot more in detail about the card. A Muslim brother is supposed to hide his brother's sins, but at the least show the proof. And he does not go to that angle anymore. So for me, it's just you take that out just for the adolescence bar. I think maybe it was shock value to kind of match dirt with dirt, but it just so directly goes against something in your second. For me, it does take away from the bar a little bit. What doesn't help him is kind of the pause moment after. I didn't understand them saying we like the fat Suge more, but then he said something like this and that about Jimmy, and I know the way he phrased it, obviously what else Jimmy can mean. I kind of understood why they paused that, but they got over it quick. And then he gets into some more angles about battling Kid Slade, battling a rat, right? And he's like, the way you punish a rat is you do not battle him. So quick in and out of that angle, but I thought it was a good one to touch on. My Lawyer Ghost wrote for me, you don't know how many times they passed the bar. Obviously I don't know why the lawyer will pass the bar like over and over, but I don't know my lawyer shit like that. I still think it was a good bar. Drop weight, the before and after pictures I thought was dope. The bags under the eyes bar, so back into the trap talk, back to back, I thought that was cool. Gun like an ultrasound, you raise it, flash it and see the child in them. I thought that was good. And it's one of those that like you're not going to get reaction on the road for that. Doesn't mean they're sleeping or hating. You just might not, but we still catching that. Like that's still a fire bar, and he does do a lot in this round. I didn't realize live how much he was doing the y'all don't gotta react, y'all don't got to. And I know after 3 rounds it can get to you a bit, but I definitely think if he like did a little bit less of that, it wouldn't look as like bad for him at parts here. I do understand the complaints about him continuously. It does look like the crowd's bothering you when you're continuously, talking at the crowd. Had the Fiends talks about the bar that they had so much convo in the promo about Suge saying, I never seen a sick fiend. And he said, I had him traded dope for electronics because that was the best buy, probably the best bar of his third or one of the best. I like that. There's a lesson in every bar, which he mixed in with what's your life like, right? And he said, my life was like romantic comedies. It was funny how they showed love. I thought that was dope. That back into the career, so we're in and out of so many angles, man. Back in the career breakdown, talk about how Smack isn't, paying him right, or he's not facilitating his career properly. So you checked everyone's pockets but yours and pocket check Suge. Reminds me a lot of when Saga had his pocket check bar versus Suge way back. It's like 2015. But I thought this was creative enough, and I thought another one of his higher points in the round. I got homies that are never coming home in the bid. It's doing a bid. It's disrespectful to ask them what their life's like. I thought that was fire. And then if there's anything I learned recently, it's don't shake his hand before I pull this bitch, which is funny because obviously the Pat post. So it is him, in a sense, the times that he kind of stands on what happened in a sense or refers to situations. Like, I feel like that was a good way to retort. So overall, it's a solid third from Eazy. It's not as good as his second. It's still better than his first, and then the third round is on Suge, right? And he starts with the angle, and I just thought it was the perfect time for this. It's so tailored to Eazy more than damn near anything in the back. All this is tailored, but we're gonna talk about everything you lied about. And he goes through a lot of things Eazy lied about, man. The thing is so many of these things are public. You lied about not getting in a fight. You lied about your URL contract, and now Remy's beefing with him. Pat smacked you so hard, you even lied on the floor. Perfect way, in a haymaker way to kind of end how that angle starts out. And then gets in almost how like Kendrick was on Meet the Grams, talking to Drake. You lied about this. You lied about this. And he's going through a lot of things that are in public eye view. You even got your new bitch to book your old bitch and then take her off the same card. Crazy, obviously, with Zan getting kicked off the card. I thought that was fire. Make you forget about Remy like Don Julio. That was fire. You lose, have you losing 2 legs for a couple thousand. So like almost a parlay, kind of like gambling flip of his own. That was cool. The algorithm can't function like Space Jam 2. He had another bar, I forgot to write it down, that kind of coincided with that, but I thought that was fire. I love this bar. Ain't nobody on your team, nobody trying to nobody shooting for captain. You shoot for captain on the court when we picking teams. Obviously, Eazy the block captain, so that was crazy. Another angle here that I thought was good, man. This speaks to the strategy of Suge, and it's why I'm not trying to hear none of that, like, he didn't speak to Eazy. She gave you some pussy, and then you'll tell anyone that listens, right? So all the recordings coming out of people, like, talking and finding out the news behind the scenes, so it's a good angle and a good approach there. Everybody been knew, and he does this, been knew this, so another concept like the you lied one. Everyone been knew she wanted Battle Dick since she tried to sign Rock and Surf, which I don't know the truth of that. Obviously, if she did try to like sign Rock and Surf to Chrome before Eazy, but he plays off that, and that's the real reason he left Gun Titles. And then he speaks to Rem just a little bit more as the battle ends here. I think that's still all great approaches. Couple haymakers in there. Fat Joe been told us you wasn't loyal. How is it that you could until you came back and needed him for profit? You was calling him a bitch till you came back out of jail and needed him for profit. How is it that you could read the room but couldn't read your options? That was crazy. And then ends off once again speaking on Eazy, kind of putting their business out there, maybe his talkativeness being the reason it got out there. You went from black love from someone trying to go viral off your pain and suffering, which kind of goes back to the phone call where it's talking about getting on love and hip-hop and stuff, right? And I just think that while Eazy's third is good, and I still think it's formidable, it's a fairly competitive round, and I had it close live, and I still think it's close enough, but I do have Suge by even more of a margin here. I just think while Eazy did a pretty solid job counter-writing in this battle, he had those couple flaws I talked about, like the Tory Doe angle, and I think Suge did an even better job actually strategically and of counter-writing, and that's why I'm still holding my call even more confidently here with Suge 2-1 in the first and the third round. And that is my full review here for Eazy the Block Captain versus Shotgun Suge. I think it's a very good battle at that, even with, a fairly clear winner in this one. I think there probably will be, when the battle hits YouTube, I also talked about this on PSA Reloaded when we were doing the show, is that I think when it comes to YouTube comments in particular, a lot of times I feel like they're almost in their own world. I don't look at YouTube comments as like, some people look at it as like the most definitive, like, consensus, what everyone's thinking, and a lot of times anyone who's going to leave a comment to go against something is usually a bit of an outspoken minority. That's why you'll hear people talking about like Twitter isn't real life, because like you'll see consensus opinions on Twitter that don't transfer to the real world, because people that are upset about something are much more likely to go out there and like put out their thought process on something than someone that's just happy with the result, right? So just because you go online and you see this and that, that's really not everybody's online, man. You know what I'm saying? So I do think, though, you might see a big shift in the comments, just because when there's any conversation about too much love in the building or not too much love, and like I said, it's not some egregious home game, but like he's in Newark, so like clearly like you're gonna get a home game feeling watching this battle, from the crowd and how they're responding a bit. And people will just attach to that. Like, I feel like whenever, like, after the fact, especially YouTube comments, they love to find a way to be like, everyone actually lied and the building was doing this. I don't feel like this is a case of that. Like, I feel like Suge genuinely won this battle 2-1. He did great things, not only lyrically, not only angle-wise, but in the way that he placed it. And he's been very vocal about how he strategized and kind of knew what Eazy was coming with and the way he was able to place his rounds. I believe he said he flipped his first and his third. And I think the coin flip was big in this battle, because with Eazy going first and getting that Remy You Love Me moment out the way, I believe Suge said that's what had him flip the rounds. So just great strategy by Suge, great battle IQ showed in this particular one, and he did exactly what I did have Eazy 2-1 going in. I know that a lot of people had Suge getting cleared. I always kind of had this one as a pick'em, especially when the angles came out, and I think Suge was always going to do great, but the strategy wasn't impressed me the most. And I feel like in the end, that level of battle IQ and really thinking it out more than just the material itself, while that was great and would have probably won the battle on its own, the placement of it even helps more with that. So I have nothing but props to give Shotgun Suge. And I think it is a good 3 rounds from Eazy. The first is actually a bit on the weaker side. I think his third is good and his second is great. So he put up a formidable fight. But he just ran into a guy with so much ammo that's currently against him. Suge utilized it all perfectly, and I think just did what he had to do to secure the W in this one. And now, of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts about the battle in the comments section. Please don't get too violent, man. I know everybody has very strong emotions towards this battle at the moment. I still think it's very good. I would personally take Cortez and King still as battle tonight. That probably will be the next battle I review. If there's another battle review, I'm not going to promise it because I have other projects I'm trying to do too. But hopefully, if I can, I'll get Cortez and King's review out tomorrow. But I'm not mad at anyone saying that this is battle tonight either, because I think Eazy put up enough of a fight as well where it is a good battle on both sides, but there's a reason that you see the consensus leaning so heavy one way. It's not because of hate. It's not because of, even if there is a lot of people that dislike Eazy because he's got a lot of enemies, even if you see some unfairness or fanned out takes on both sides, Suge earned this W, earned this performance, and starts off with a fantastic showing, probably his best showing since the Ace Amin battle, and maybe even better than that to start off 2025. So I want to hear you guys as winners, your details, how you feel about the battle, how you called it, and if you might be expecting a little bit of flip in the YouTube comments when the battle drops. But it's been J Smo Reviews again here, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'm going to catch you on the next one, man. Peace.